All right. Hello, friends. My name is Jonathan Gao, and I am a freshman in computer science. I'm also a staff member for HackIllinois. So I'm on the experience team, which is like organizing the event itself, as well as the marketing team. And so HackIllinois is UIUC's premier student-run hackathon. Very, very exciting. And yeah, I'm really excited for it. So this workshop is to get you kind of hyped up for HackIllinois, as well as to get you prepared for it in some regards. More info about HackIllinois, as well as how to get involved in it, will be at the end of the video and in the description box. But it's going to be in late February, and we're really excited to have you guys at it. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so at HackIllinois or any hackathon, you're going to be creating software. You're going to program something awesome in one weekend. And one problem a lot of participants face is they don't know how to make something. You think throughout all your university experience, your high school, whatever experience, you've learned a lot of technical skills, but the skill of trying to figure out what you want to create, what application to develop, and how that can help other people is one that's more not as taught in the regular environment. So that's the point of this workshop. So how do you create an idea? The traditional way is called idea generation. And to do this, we're going to look through first a case study of a real life example where they use a methodology so we can learn from its mistakes and see what we might do better for your applications at HackIllinois. So we're going to go through the example of IMVU. If you don't know, IMVU is like this old, well, it's still around, but it's much more popular back in the day. It's kind of like online virtual chat platform. It's like the metaverse, but before the metaverse. So you can have your 3D avatars, as you can see, and you can chat with other people in kind of this 3D virtual world. It's kind of like The Sims, if you know what that is, except with real people and like an MMORPG kind of thing. If it didn't make any sense to you, just think kind of like the metaverse, talk to other people with 3D avatar. But IMVU, though it was pretty popular and still is quite successful now, it was not always as so. So let's look back on IMVU's debut. IMVU was released in 2004, and in this time period, instant messaging was huge. So people were very excited about instant messaging, or IM, as well as 3D games. To give context, games like GTA San Andreas, The Sims 2, Halo 2, and World of Warcraft were all released in this year. So when the developers for IMVU were thinking what they wanted to create, they thought, here is a great idea. IMs are very big, 3D games are very big. What if we combine them and make something really awesome? So to reiterate, idea generation, which is what IMVU did in the beginning, is they thought of a great idea. They wanted to make a product, so they thought of an idea. And this is usually what people do instinctively. You want to make something speaking of an idea first. We're going to learn this. Might be better ways to go about doing this, but this is how IMVU did it. All right, so IMVU, to reiterate, they combine IM to 3D games. One thing to note is that because just of the environment, the setting, they wanted to create an add-on for an IM rather than a completely new one. It's not extremely important for this example, but something to note. All right, so they launch and they kind of don't do too well. Their launch isn't very hot. And so they do what normal people do. They improve it. They build all these new improvements. They fix bugs. They add new features. But even then, it's not doing too well regardless. So out of desperation, they decide to finally bring in customers for interviews. And from these interviews, they find some pretty crazy things. So some feedback. They found that people enjoyed the 3D game, but didn't want to play with their existing friends. IMVU's idea and the heart behind their idea was that you could play with your existing friends in a 3D world, and that since it's cross-platform, it can work with any IM, and as such, they can play with any of their real-life friends on IMVU. However, they found that people didn't really want this. What they found was that their users didn't really want to play with their real-life friends. They worried that if they showed their friends this 3D game thing, they might not like it. And one thing they didn't realize was that IMVU, because it was a 3D avatar platform, it had this special niche of being able to connect you with other people while still keeping your privacy. If you imagine trying to make new friends on, I don't know, like Instagram, for example, your real life profile is on there, your name, your images, so on and so forth. Your real self is on that. However, with a 3D avatar, you have that protection of having a 3D avatar to go in front of you, so you can make a new friend in a much more safer way. So what happened? The developers assumed the wrong problem. They assumed that people wanted to play with their existing friends in the IMVU with a 3D avatar. However, they found that in reality, people wanted to use IMVU's 3D avatars to safely make new friends on the internet. So let's reflect on what happened. With IMVU, you can see that people don't really care about an idea, they care about solutions to their problems. The idea of combining a 3D game, which is very popular, with IMs, which is also very popular, was a good idea and made sense. However, people don't really care if you have a great idea. They care about if you have a solution to a problem that they face. And in IMVU's case, that problem was that people wanted to make friends online in a safe way, and IMVU fit that solution. So to reiterate, idea generation, which is what IMVU did in the beginning, is taking an idea and trying to fit it into an audience's needs. They tried to fit in this idea of combining an IM with a 3D game into their audience's wants, instead of looking into what their audience actually wanted. When IMVU decided to pivot and focused more on making IMVU a way to make new friends in an online environment, they were able to find success. Because in that case, when they pivoted, they were fitting an audience's actual need rather than trying to make them like an idea that they had. So that brings us to problem generation, which is the opposite of idea generation. In problem generation, you're going to first identify a problem and then make a solution to that need. So to reflect on IMVU, what could they have done better? They could have better understood their audience's needs. So if they had first researched their audience, found out what their audience wanted, which was in that case to use the 3D avatars to make new friends in an online environment, they could have saved themselves a lot of headache trying to find out what was going wrong and making all these features that people ultimately didn't want. From IMVU's example, we can see that understanding your audience's needs is the first step to creating a product. Once you know their needs, you can find out their problems, you can find a solution to that problem and make a product to fit that problem. So problem generation. To reiterate, we're going to want to identify a problem first and then find a solution. And what are some real life examples? Let's look at Uber and YouTube. So first of all, Uber. So Garrett Camp realized that direct transportation was very expensive. Getting a ride directly from point A to point B was quite expensive, and he realized that problem. Thus, he fit a product to fit that problem, which was using an app so you can share rides and thus lower the cost of direct transportation. In a similar example, YouTube, which was founded by Steve Chen, who was a UIUC alum, Chad Hurley and Jawed Karim, who's also UIC alum, they had trouble finding a video of a large pop culture event online. They found that problem first and then built a solution from there. And that solution was to have a video hosting platform, which became YouTube. So from these examples from Uber and YouTube, we can see that finding the problem first and then creating a solution can be an effective method for creating a product. One thing to note is that the tying thing behind it is customer research. You have to kind of first figure out what your customer wants and do customer research. This is a pretty broad topic that we're not going to go too into, but even just very, examples come to your mind, like having a survey or especially doing interviews and showing them a prototype and getting their direct feedback. That can be a very effective way to do customer research, and it's pretty self-explanatory. All right, so let us try it out. We're going to be having a short fictional example, and I'm going to recommend that along with this video, you kind of pause it, try to figure out what you think we should be doing. I'm using the attack as a problem generation. So we're going to be working with this target audience of Black Friday shoppers. And what are we going to do? We're going to first do customer research and identify a problem. So let's pretend that we're going to be doing some interviews. And here's what the feedback is. One person says, everything's moving so fast, it's hard to figure out what size fits best. Another says, waiting in line and trying clothes is a no-go, the lines are too long. And finally, sizes vary so much between brands, I have to try multiple sizes. So I'm going to recommend that you kind of pause it here, try to figure out what is the problem that's tying these audience members together, and then try to think of a solution to fit that problem. All right, so assuming you have paused and thought about that, the problem that we can identify amidst these three shoppers is that Black Friday shoppers need to know which clothing size to get, very quickly for this specific body type. And a solution we can make, or an example solution, is an app which takes your measurements and determines which size a certain item or brand fits the best. So as you can see, by using problem generation, we first found the customer. We found out what they wanted. We interviewed them, found out what they wanted, found their problem. And from there, we built a solution to fit that problem, which is problem generation. Imagine if instead you took this idea of Black Friday, you made something that you thought was a good idea, and you test it out. It might work, people might like it. There's also a chance that you think it's a good idea, but other people don't. With problem generation, you kind of sidestep that worry by checking your assumptions and making sure that what you are building is something that people actually want, because you're building something based off of what people want. You're building something based off of an audience's problem. All right, so in specific regard to HackIllinois, how is problem generation relevant? So in HackIllinois, you're going to be creating a product in 1 weekend, which is really exciting. For many of you, you already know how to code, and if you don't, there's a beginner track, so you don't need to worry about that. You can also participate, if you don't have much experience. But for many of you, you already know how to code, and you have a lot of technical background. However, what you may not have is figuring out what you want to create. How do you think of what you want to make, and then just make that product? Problem generation can be an effective way to create an application that will impact other people in a beneficial way, because you are creating something that will directly attack someone's problem, and as such will have genuine reason to be used. All right, so to reiterate, problem generation is identifying a problem and creating a solution to fit that need, rather than idea generation, which is kind of making an idea and trying to fit it into someone's needs. So that is the workshop. Thank you so much for watching this workshop. Just to reiterate, HackIllinois is U of I's flagship hackathon, and you're going to be creating a product in 1 weekend. You can meet new collaborators. You also will get to work with mentors who are from across the industries, not even just in CS, but also in like entrepreneurship and whatnot. So between getting expertise from these industry mentors, meeting new people to work with, and also going to just kind of finally get that push to create something real. It's a very exciting event, and we're very excited to have it. So if HackIllinois is going to be virtually in the end of February, keep your eyes out for registration and more details and whatnot. If you want to know more, the website as well as the Instagram will be in the description below. The Instagram handle is, what is it? It is at HackIllinois, HackIllinois. And you can find more information in the Instagram as well as the website. All right, so thank you so much. Have a great day, and we can't wait to see you at HackIllinois.